Today we're going to be starting off with another stool project. This one's going to be a little bit different, a little bit fancier. I've got some walnut right here, and the overall dimension of this stool is going to be 9.5 inches wide by 13 inches long, and it's going to set about 10.5 inches tall. Now the thing that's going to be different about this one compared to the last one, there's no pocket holes or anything like that. This one is going to be made completely by hand tools. We're going to be using a dovetail joinery to join everything together, and hopefully they turn out pretty good. Okay, so first thing we're going to be doing is marking out all of our pieces real quick. We're going to have a few of them, and I'm going to be just making the dimensions a little bit oversized just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to start with a fresh, clean spot right here. I'm going to be measuring off of this point, and I want my top to be 13 inches wide or long, so I'm going to make it 13.1/8 inches long. That way I can shave some down and get a perfect fit. And to get two pieces for the top, I'm gonna have to glue up all these pieces. So I've got to mark out another 13.1/8. And now I can mark out 4 that are going to be 10.5 inches long, because I'm going to have to glue 2 for the bottom and then another 2 for the bottom. One thing that I ran into on this piece of walnut is that it had a knot right here and a knot right here. On this knot, one mark was right here. I skipped this section and restarted another 10.5 inch mark right here because I didn't want this. This went all the way through the board, and I didn't want that included. This one, however, was very shallow. It only came down maybe 1/8 of an inch or so on that side, and more than likely I'll be able to plane most of that crack away, and if not, it's in the middle of the leg anyway, and I can just put it on the inside of the stool. After I got the legs and the tops cut out, I've got this piece right here that I've marked out for the stretcher. It's going to actually go through. I think I'm going to do like a through mortise and tenon, and then have 2 wedges, which I'll get out of this extra section right here, still avoiding this little knot. When ripping down long boards like this, I try to do it in 2 different passes. As you can see, this one is not cut right here, but this section right here is cut. This board was originally like this, had more room on this side. I cut down here, left this right here. On this side, I started ripping down to about here, flipped it around, finished cutting right here, and now I'll finish this section right here. That way it's really stable, and I've got most of my board off to the right side. I'm right-handed. Makes it a lot easier where I don't drift off one way or the other. Here is a look at where I met with the 2 saw cuts. You can see that it's kind of tore right here, a little uneven. This is why I'll take it over to the vise and just clean it up. We've gotten a couple of the pieces glued up, and now we've got to go ahead and get one side completely flattened, and then we'll take a marking gauge, get the thickness down, and then flatten it down to the proper thickness. So right now I'm going to be using a number 4 Not too bad, still high around the edges. After getting the two sides pretty much the same in thickness, I went ahead and just used the side of a longer plane and just checked it, looking for the light. I've still got one little high spot right in this little area, but I'm not going to worry about that because it's not on the edge and it's just going to be part of the leg, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to come back with my Stanley number 80 scraper. And this is going to be the first project that I'm ever using it on. So I've had this one for a little while. It hasn't even been refinished. I sharpened the blade and it's not doing too bad. It's got some little shavings coming off. Now the benefit of using a scraper is great because you don't have to use the sandpaper. Doesn't create a lot of dust in the air. It just kind of scrapes it all. You can see it all right here. I've been doing it on this half a little bit. It's really nice. You can do it with this kind of scraper, or you can even do it with an actual card scraper. Now that I have gotten one side completely flattened, checked it out, I don't have any winding sticks, but I used hand planes and that gets it fairly close. I've gone through all these boards and checked to see what the thickest one was and set a marking gauge for just thinner than the thickest board. And I'm just going to take it and use that as the thickness of all my wood.